So one of the things we caught during the Tatooine mission footage that I was watching through the day was the fact that the blaster has multiple settings. And there was this particular moment in the trailer when she slides in, pulls the blaster, and then switches modes on the blaster in the middle of the slide or right before the slide. It all happens very quickly and changes modes to attack this new type of monster creature NPC that she's coming up against, right, in this video clip, which was really cool. And I just watched that footage and was like, wow, that's awesome. I can't wait. And then this morning, it looks like over on Games Radar, published an interview by Heather Wald. It says the making of Kay's trusty sidearm in Star Wars Outlaws. We really wanted the iconic blaster, but we also wanted you to have a full fat shooting experience, which is pretty freaking awesome. So we already know that the blaster has like skins and things of that nature, so you can kind of customize it. I think there's some pre-order bonuses that are tied to that as well. But we really get into this. We're going to read through this article, talk a little bit about some of the things we see here. I'm going to drink my coffee, continue to get ready for this morning's stream. If this is your first time tuning into one of my videos, don't forget daily streams happen between here and over on Twitch. We multi-stream every single day. There's Discord, Patreon, all the socials. We play a lot of games. We will be playing a lot of Star Wars Outlaws, so hopefully you're ready for that. So here it says, while the Han Solo archetype inspired the direction of Outlaws, the blaster gun obviously felt like the obvious choice because of that decision. This is lead gameplay designer Frederick Thilander answering a question about what would a scoundrel be without a sidearm. He says, I'm reminded of Solo's quote, hokey religions and ancient weapons are no match for a blaster at your side, which makes the weapon even more fitting for Kay, who doesn't use the Force or have anything to do with the Jedi. In order to make the blaster unique to Kay, the team worked with Lucasfilm to ensure the weapon is an integral tool that you can't, and more crucially, don't want to be without. That's a really good point. The idea of the blaster being more than just a weapon, it's part of your character. Um, the lightsaber is an integral part of the Jedi. The Force is there, yeah. I mean, you have the Force, but also just the the lightsaber as a tool, as a weapon. It's the identity by which the Jedi are known more than anything else. So a smuggler having a great blaster, I mean, that's something we established with Han Solo years ago. Philander says we came to a dilemma because you want an iconic sidearm that K always has, but you also want varied gameplay. So how do you do that? Well, K's blaster is a unique blaster. It's called the VM19. We developed it with Lucasfilm, and it has modules that she can swap out, like a six-shooter with quick reload during combat. She can find new modules that allow her to shoot new types of projectiles. She can also upgrade or modify them to behave differently. And again, going back to that video clip we saw in the Tatooine footage, I'm sure it's out there in other footage as well. That's the one I'm referring to because it's the one I saw most recently. Um, it was really cool seeing Kay slide in and on the fly go into a radial wheel and switch out what her blaster could do. It says maybe you want your blaster to be rapid fire instead of single fire, which we've seen. Maybe you want to behave a little bit like a hand cannon if that's your playstyle. All that's available, and you can even upgrade it to gain new gameplay effects such as perfect reload. That gives you a bonus after the reload minigame where you have to hit the exact right spot. Oh, so that's like what we're seeing right now with Flintlock. When you go to use your musket, there's a bar that pops up and there's a slider that moves across it. And right in the middle, there's a sweet spot where if you hit A at just the right time, you get a damage bonus on the shot right after that because it's a perfect reload. That's exactly what they're talking about here. Um, oh, I love the blaster shot. Um, so the writer says that during their hands-on time with Star Wars Outlaws, got to try out a few different modules, such as an electrified shot, useful against shields and droids, then a lethal blaster shot, and then another ability that let them line up several shots against various foes, like Red Dead Redemption Deadeye, which we've seen in lots of footage now for Star Wars Outlaws. Um, dun, 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 dun. Then later says the varied gameplay is also supplemental with perhaps a preference for picking up certain weapons from the enemies that you love to use as well. These will be used and discarded as they run out of ammo, so you can't carry them with you forever, but we can strategize around which enemies you take out first, depending on if you like their weapons or not. We saw this in the Tatooine footage as well. the grenade launcher that she picks up and then boom, boom, boom. I was like 6 or 8 shots. I'm not counting, but launched several shots and then she chucked the grenade launcher to the side. So that's pretty cool. I like the idea of strategizing around which enemies you take out first, based upon whether or not you want their weapon for a strategic advantage in the fight. Really awesome. Highlander also points out that the blaster isn't just for shooting enemies. It can be used to solve environmental puzzles, such as powering up nodes to open up doors in a rundown reactor. It's a multi-purpose tool, as this writer describes, that Kay not only relies upon but has an attachment to, with little cosmetic touches such as a small carving of Nyx etched into the handle. That's pretty cool. Thunder says we explored whether or not she should have different blasters, but at the end of the day, each iconic scoundrel has their own iconic blaster that theirs, and you can recognize it. So we really wanted that, which of course then has to marry with the fact that we want more varied gameplay. And this is with Lucasfilm, how we came up with this idea of modules that you can swap out on the fly to have multiple playstyles, multiple ways of shooting at any given time. And then on top of that, you can modify it to suit your playstyle to whether or not you want it to be a full auto weapon or a single shot hand cannon. So we really wanted that iconic blaster, but we wanted you to have a full fat shooting experience. So that's pretty cool to think about the fact that essentially what they're doing is they're looking at lots of different shooter games that we all love and play. And they've said, how can we take the gameplay from those other shooter games and apply it to a single weapon that is an iconic blaster? It does call into question because I've seen some things about skins for the blaster. I'm not sure how that's going to work if we want the blaster to become an iconic part of K. Not quite sure how that works unless we're just going to be reskinning it with different colors and it's always going to say the same style, like shape and everything else. I'm not sure. What we do know is that the blaster is going to play an integral part of Kay's journey through Star Wars Outlaws. And we've also seen other things like the grapple hook, which I don't think the grapple hook has anything to do with the blaster per se, but I'm not sure how if that's something where because it looks like on her back she's got that hoop thing. I think that's where the grapple hook. I've not actually looked into all the bits and pieces of her costume yet to determine exactly what she's using or how it's being used. I've just seen the grapple hook in play. So that, you know, the idea of, I know we've seen in videos, we've seen stun bursts, we've seen rapid fire mode, we've seen single fire mode, we've seen the Deadeye, Red Dead Redemption 2 Deadeye style where you can target multiple mobs. We've seen that style. We've definitely seen lots of different things that Kay can use with the blaster. And the idea that it's also going to be the tool that helps you get into puzzles and stuff, I highly appreciate that. It gives us a chance to see that it's going beyond just the combat here. And I think that's a really cool concept for allowing people to have basically, the K persona that they can then personalize for their own experience based on what kind of playstyle suits them the best. I suck at like single target, so I probably won't go hand cannon. I'll probably be doing the auto fire. We'll see. I'll know more once I get in and see how it feels. But I'm going to be playing a lot of Star Wars Outlaws when it comes out and covering it until then with news articles and the like. So if you liked my coverage today, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, daily streams here and on Twitch. Don't forget the Discord, Patreon, and all the socials. And I'll see everybody in the next one. Stay safe. May the Force be with you.